Chris, good to see you, and great to have you here, and really appreciate you wanting to share your experiences of this great industry that we're both in. Interestingly, Chris, I believe you started life in the most loved profession, estate agency, to now running your own house building company, Chris. So I'm going to hand over to Lee Jackson, who's got a question for you, Chris.
Chris, you've recently just set up your business, Castlethorpe Homes. What's the biggest challenge that you didn't expect that you've come across?
I suppose the biggest unexpected challenge has been starting from scratch. You always go into a business where there's systems, procedures, you've got sites that are ongoing. So to have to go completely back to the beginning and start every piece of paperwork from the very first page is probably the most challenging thing that you take for granted when you work at something elsewhere. Everything from the colour choices to the reservation forms to having the first legal contract. I've read them so many times. When you read it yourself for your own business, it puts a bit of stark reality. And I know certainly when we exchanged on our first site, I've bought loads of land over the years, but that first site, it was 4 units, but I must have read the document 7 times. And then I woke up the next morning and read it again just to make sure, because you're next on the line then. So the challenges are more what you set for yourself. But actually, once you get a team of people who are like-minded, that sort of dissolves away, really.
Thank you, Chris. Joe Milkins.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for that. That was really interesting. My question's from a marketing perspective. What are the 3 main things you focus on when looking to build a plot and market it, bring it to market?
Thanks, Joe. I think from a marketing point of view, there's probably different aspects that all feed into depending where it is. I think you've got to home in on the key attributes of every individual site. I do think design and layout are probably the 2 of the biggest things from marketing, because marketing is all about selling the key attributes. So you've got to have some. So ultimately, I think the aesthetics, the design, the layout, you've got to put something on the table that you can then take to market. It's very difficult trying to sell something that's difficult to sell because you're spending money on something just to try and make it work. So I don't think there's necessarily 3, because it would change. But I think if you put the effort into the development and the property, then actually the marketing side of it should be fairly straightforward.
Thank you. Jay Phillips.
Hi, Chris. I'd just like to build on one of your answers in terms of the bathroom. Have you considered what role that plays in terms of differentiating your offer? And I'm thinking specifically about design, sustainability, the flow of water, and also importantly, user experience in terms of well-being. And the second part of my question is, how do you go about communicating or marketing that message to potential buyers?
That's a really good question. Actually, the second part of the question, I'll take it first. We don't communicate that at all, and we should do. It's something that house builders as across the industry fail to speak about the virtues of lots of aspects. I think a lot of house builders could, do a lot worse than walk around one of their houses and try and talk about all the features. But the bathroom, I think, is the kitchen and bathroom that people say about it being the new kitchen. I think bathrooms are probably broken down to a few things from my perspective. I think the cloakroom has become a really important thing in people's houses. It's the thing your guests see. It's the bathroom that can be projected, whereas you go into a lot of cloakrooms, they've one tile as a splashback, because it's like, well, it's the 3rd bathroom in the house, so I won't bother. It should be the other way around. It should be the one that you think, actually, I want people to project me as a homeowner and the choices I made. When someone goes to the loo, when they've come round for Sunday lunch, cloakroom's the obvious place. Secondly, I think you've got to have a knowledge of your customer, and certainly from my point of view, a 4 or 5 bed detached house doesn't mean it's going to be a family with 2.4 children. You can sell a 4 bed detached house to a couple, and invariably a downsizer. So for me, a master bathroom should be like a hotel bathroom, and then you've got to then work out who's going to live there. Is the family bathroom in the second ensuite really going to be at the same level. So actually spend your money wisely and get your layout wisely. And certainly from my point of view, the huge master bedroom and a good size master ensuite, you can spend more money and then save that money by having a second ensuite or even a family bathroom, which is not required to have all the extra bits.
Just an open, anyone got any other burning question they want to ask Chris?
Hi Chris. One thing that I'm keen to understand is what your thoughts are on labour shortages now and coming down the line.
I think labour shortages are a problem. I think from a construction point of view across the industry, there's been a lack of labour and particularly skilled labour. So it is an issue because ultimately you want to be paying a competitive price, but more importantly, a competitive price, you want a decent gang of people or you want decent labour, and that's difficult. I don't think there's a quick fix to that. I think that's going to take time. I have to say, I think one of the things that's important for all house builders is to realise we're all in the same boat. So you've got to do apprenticeships, you've got to try and invest in the young people coming in, and I know TP are very good at that, but I think every house builder, however big or small, has got to try and take on someone who is wanting to learn, because we've got to pay it forward on labour and skills, and certainly from our point of view, you've got to try and, when you get a good one, get them to then sort of pass their skills on.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, and yet again, thank you for your time. Can we all show our appreciation to Chris for his time? Thank you. Cheers, Chris. Thank you.